You know that feeling? When you wake up in the morning and for just a few seconds, you forget how old you are. You forget what year it is. And then reality comes back. And you remember all those years, all those plans you made, all those things you'd said you'd do someday. And someday still hasn't come, has it? I want to tell you something. Something I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. It's about time, but not in the way you think. See, we all know time passes. We all know we're getting older. But there's something else, something deeper, something that changes everything once you see it. And I'm going to show you what that is. Right now, there are two voices in your head. You hear them every day. One voice says, "It's too late now. You're too old. You missed your chance." The other voice, it's quieter, but it's still there. It whispers, "Not yet. There's still time. You can still..." Which voice are you listening to? Because that choice is everything. There's a question I'm going to ask you. Not now, but soon. It's a simple question, just a few words. But when I ask it, you're going to feel something. Maybe pain, maybe regret, maybe hope. Because this question, it will show you the truth about where you are and where you could be. Are you ready to answer it honestly? In the next 40 minutes, we're going to have a conversation. Just you and me. No judgment, no pressure, but complete honesty. Because if you're tired of waiting, if you're tired of watching time slip away, if you're ready to finally understand what's been holding you back, then stay with me. This conversation might change everything. Let's begin. Do you remember when you were younger, maybe 10 years old or 15? Time felt different then, didn't it? Summer vacation felt like forever. A year felt like an eternity. You had all the time in the world. You could dream big because tomorrow seemed so far away. Next year seemed like another lifetime. And when you thought about being 40 or 50 or 60, that was almost impossible to imagine. That was someone else's life, not yours. But something changed. Somewhere along the way, time started moving differently. The years began to blur together. Birthdays came faster. Seasons changed before you even noticed. And suddenly, here you are. And you're asking yourself, where did all that time go? How did I get here so fast? Let me tell you something nobody wants to admit. We all believe in illusion. We all think we have more time than we do. We say later. We say someday. We say when things settle down, or when I have more money, or when the kids are older. And we believe it. We truly believe that later will come. But here's the truth. For most people, later becomes never. Someday never arrives. The things we tell ourselves we'll do, the dreams we say we'll chase, the conversations we promise we'll have, they just fade away. Quietly, slowly, until one day we wake up and realize, I never did that. I never even tried. I want you to think about something for a moment. When was the last time you looked at old photographs, or ran into an old friend you hadn't seen in years, or attended a funeral? In those moments, something hits you. You feel it in your chest. You realize, my God, it's been 10 years. It's been 15 years. Where did that time go? What did I do with all those days, all those months? And the painful part is you can't really remember. Not clearly. The years just blend together into a fog of routines and obligations and distractions. You worked, you ate, you slept, you watched things on a screen. But did you live? Really live? Let me give you some mathematics. Simple numbers. If you're 50 years old right now, you might have 25 or 30 good years left. Maybe more, if you're lucky. Maybe less. We never know. But let's say 30 years. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? 30 years. But think about this. How many of those years are truly yours? How many hours in those years belong to you? After work, after sleep, after all the things you have to do, how much time is actually left for the life you want to live? The answer might shock you. It's not as much as you think. Most people don't live their days. They exist through them. They wake up, they go through the motions, they check boxes, they survive. But they don't feel alive. They don't feel that fire in their chest, that excitement, that sense of purpose. They're just moving from one day to the next, waiting for something to change, waiting for life to begin. But life is already happening, right now, this moment. And it's passing by while we wait. So let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest, completely honest. What did you do with the last 5 years? Can you tell me? Can you remember specific moments, specific achievements, specific joys? Or did those 5 years just disappear into a blur? Did they slip through your fingers like water? And if they did, why? What were you waiting for? What were you so busy doing that you forgot to live? Time doesn't slow down for anyone. Not for you, not for me, not for anyone. It doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your excuses. It just keeps moving. The clock is ticking. Every second, every minute, every hour. But here is what most people don't understand. The clock is not ticking against you. It's not your enemy. Time itself is not the problem. The problem is how you're using it. The problem is wasting it. The problem is letting it slip away on things that don't matter, while the things that do matter wait in silence. You can't buy more time. No amount of money can give you another hour. No one can sell you another day. But you can stop wasting what's left. You can stop throwing away your hours on distractions and numbness and fear. You can stop living like you have forever. Because you don't. None of us do. The real question isn't where did the time go? That's in the past. It's gone. The real question is, where am I going? What am I going to do with the time I have left? Am I going to keep drifting? Keep waiting? Keep pretending that someday will come? Or am I finally going to wake up and decide, no more? Not one more day. Not one more hour. I'm going to live. Really live. Starting right now. Because that's the truth about time. It's not waiting for you to be ready. It's already moving. The question is, are you moving with it? Or are you standing still, watching it pass you by? So let's talk about where you are right now. Your daily life, your routine. You wake up at the same time. You make the same coffee. You sit in the same chair. You check the same things on your phone. You watch the same shows. You have the same conversations with the same people about the same topics. Day after day, week after week, month after month. And if I asked you why, you'd probably say, because it's comfortable, because it's easy, because it works. But let me ask you something. Does it really work, or have you just gotten used to it? There's a difference, a big difference, between something working and something just being familiar. Between living a life
and living a routine. And most of us, if we're being honest, we're not living a life anymore. We're just repeating a routine over and over, like a loop, like a recording that plays the same song every single day. After 45 years, 50 years, you've built something. You have a home. You have responsibilities. You have bills to pay and people depending on you. And somewhere along the way, you made choices. Safe choices. Practical choices. Choices that led you here, to this moment. And maybe this life isn't perfect. Maybe it's not what you dreamed about when you were 20. But it's predictable. It's stable. It's comfortable. And comfort feels safe, doesn't it? After all these years, after all the struggles, don't you deserve some comfort? Don't you deserve some peace? That's what we tell ourselves. And I understand it. I really do. But here's what nobody tells you about comfort. Comfort is a trap. It's a prison you build for yourself, brick by brick, year by year, until one day you wake up and realize, I can't remember the last time I felt truly alive. I can't remember the last time I did something that scared me, that excited me, that made me feel like I was really living. You're not trapped by bars made of steel. You're trapped by habits you don't even notice anymore, by routines that feel normal, by a life that feels like it's just happening to you instead of being created by you. And the worst part, the most painful part, your dreams don't die loudly. They don't scream, they don't fight, they die quietly, slowly, one maybe tomorrow at a time, one I'm too tired at a time, one it's too late now at a time. Think about that hobby you loved when you were younger, that thing that made you lose track of time, that made you feel joy. Where did it go? Why did you stop? Think about that place you always wanted to visit, that country, that city, that mountain. You said you'd go someday. You've been saying it for 10 years, for 20 years. Why haven't you gone? Think about that conversation you've been avoiding, the apology you need to make, the truth you need to speak, the love you never expressed. Why are you still waiting? What are you afraid of? Most people tell themselves, I'll do it when I retire, when I have more time, when I have more money, when things settle down. And they believe it. They truly believe that moment will come. But let me tell you something that might hurt. What if you don't make it to retirement? What if something happens before then? Or what if you do retire, but by then you're too tired, too sick, too old, too afraid? What if the window closes and you never even knew it was open? There's a truth about life that no one wants to face. Growth only happens outside of comfort, always. It has always been that way. It will always be that way. When you were a baby, you had to fall 100 times before you learned to walk. When you were young, you had to risk rejection, to make friends, to find love, to build anything meaningful. Every single time you grew, every single time you became more, you had to leave comfort behind. You had to feel scared. You had to feel uncertain. You had to risk failing. But somewhere along the way, we stopped doing that. We decide that comfort is more important than growth, that safety is more important than living, and we settle into our routines, we build our walls, we lock our doors, and we tell ourselves, this is enough, this is fine, I'm okay. But are you? Are you really okay? Or are you just comfortable? There's a difference. Here's the good news. The beautiful news. You can leave any time. The door to your prison, it was never locked. You just stopped trying to open it. You convinced yourself you couldn't. You convinced yourself it was too late. You convinced yourself that this is just how life is now. But it's not. It never was. You can walk out right now, today, this moment. You can try something new. You can take one small risk. You can do one thing that scares you. Just one thing. Your comfort zone is not protecting you. It's limiting you. It's keeping you small. It's keeping you safe, yes, but it's also keeping you from everything you could be, from everything you could experience, from the life you actually want to live. So the question is, are you going to stay? Are you going to keep choosing comfort over life? Or are you finally ready to step outside, to feel alive again, to remember what it's like to grow? Because here's what I need you to understand. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If you keep doing exactly what you're doing, you'll keep getting exactly what you're getting. And 5 years from now, you'll be sitting here again, asking yourself the same questions, feeling the same regret. Unless you do something different, unless you break the pattern, unless you step out of the prison you've been living in. The choice is yours. It always has been.
Let me tell you about regret. Real regret. Not the kind you see in movies, not the dramatic kind. The real kind. The kind that comes at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep, when everyone else is quiet, when there's nothing to distract you, and suddenly your mind goes to that place where all the what-ifs live. What if I had tried? What if I'd spoken up? What if I hadn't been so afraid? What if I had just taken that chance? Regret doesn't announce itself. It doesn't bang on your door. It just sits there, quiet, heavy, like a stone in your chest that you carry everywhere. Some days you don't notice it. You're too busy, too distracted, but other days, especially the quiet days, you feel it, and it hurts. Not like a sharp pain, more like a dull ache that never really goes away. The ache of knowing you could have, you should have, but you didn't. Here's what research shows us, what studies tell us, what people at the end of their lives say when they look back. They don't regret the things they did wrong. Not really. They don't regret the mistakes they made, the failures they experienced, the times they fell down. No, what they regret most are the things they never tried, the chances they never took, the words they never said, the love they never expressed, the dreams they never chased, the life they never lived. Think about relationships for a moment. How many phone calls did you mean to make but never did? How many times did you think about reaching out to someone you cared about, but you didn't? You told yourself, I'll call tomorrow. I'll text them next week. There's time. And then years passed. And now the distance is so great, you don't even know how to start. And you carry that weight, the weight of words unsaid, the weight of love unexpressed, the weight of an apology that came too late or never came at all. Think about your dreams, not the small ones, the big ones, the ones that made your heart race when you were younger, that business you wanted to start, that book you wanted to write, that skill you wanted to learn, that trip you wanted to take, that person you wanted to become. What happened to those dreams? Where did they go? Did you chase them and fail? No. Most of us never even tried. We just let them fade. We let them die in silence. We told ourselves, it's not practical. It's not realistic. It's too risky. And now, years later, we wonder, what if I had tried? What if I had been brave? Who would I be now? Let me ask you to do something. Imagine you could talk to yourself at 70 years old, or 80. Imagine that older version of you is sitting across from you right now, looking at you, knowing everything you know, knowing everything you're thinking. What would they say to you? What would they beg you to do? Would they say yes, play it safe, keep waiting, don't take any risks? Or would they grab you by the shoulders and say, please, please don't waste any more time. Do it now. Try it now. Say it now, before it's too late. Because here's the truth about regret. It's the heaviest thing you'll ever carry. Heavier than failure, heavier than loss, heavier than pain. Because failure ends, loss heals, pain fades. But regret? Regret stays. It stays with you for decades. It grows. It gets heavier. Every year that passes, every birthday, every milestone, it whispers to you, you could have, you should have, but you didn't. And now it's too late. Someone once said something beautiful. They said regret is just love with nowhere to go. Think about that. All that energy, all that passion, all that care you had for something or someone, it had nowhere to go. You kept it inside. You never expressed it. You never acted on it. And now it just sits there, trapped, turning into regret, into sadness, into that ache you feel when you're alone with your thoughts. The saddest words in any language are these: I wish I had. I wish I had told them I loved them. I wish I had taken that chance. I wish I had followed my dream. I wish I had been braver. I wish I had lived more and worried less. Those words, they haunt people for years, for decades, until the end of their lives. Don't let those be your words. But here's something important, something I need you to hear. You're still here, right now, in this moment. You're breathing. Your heart is beating. Your mind is working. That means something. That means it's not too late. Not yet. Yes, time has passed. Yes, you've missed opportunities. Yes, there are things you can't get back. But you're still here. And that means you still have time. Not forever, but right now. Today. This moment. The question is not what you didn't do yesterday, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. The question is, what are you going to do today? Are you going to keep adding to that weight? Keep collecting more regrets? Keep letting opportunities pass you by? Or are you finally going to do something different? Are you finally going to choose action over fear? Living over existing? Because the choice is yours. And every day you wait, the choice gets harder. The weight gets heavier. The regret grows deeper. So what's it going to be? More regret? Or finally, a different choice?
So let's talk about what's really stopping you. Because it's not what you think. It's not the world. It's not your circumstances. It's not your age or your past or your lack of resources. Those things matter, yes, but they're not the real problem. The real problem is much closer, much more personal. The real problem is you, or more specifically, the voice inside your head, the one that's been talking to you for years, telling you stories, convincing you of things that might not even be true. You know that voice, the one that says, I'm too old. Where did that voice come from? Who told you that? Who decided that 50 is too old? Or 60? Or any age? People start businesses at 60. They learn new languages at 70. They find love at 80. They climb mountains. They write books. They change careers. They change their entire lives. So who told you that you're too old? And more importantly, why did you believe them? There's another voice, the one that says, it's too late. Too late for what? Too late compared to who?
Too late according to what timeline? Your life is not a race. You're not competing with anyone. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. That's it. That's the only comparison that matters. But somehow, we let that voice convince us. We let it tell us that because we didn't do something at 25 or 35, we can never do it. That's not truth. That's fear dressed up as wisdom. And that's the trick, isn't it? Fear is very good at disguising itself. It doesn't say, I'm fear. It says, I'm being realistic. It says, I'm being practical. It says, I'm being responsible. And we believe it. We nod our heads. We tell ourselves we're being smart by not taking risks. We're being mature by not chasing dreams. But sometimes what we call wisdom is just fear. What we call being realistic is just being afraid. And the difference matters. Let me ask you something. Think about a time in your past when you tried something and it didn't work. Maybe you failed. Maybe you were embarrassed. Maybe people laughed. Maybe you lost money or time or confidence. What did that experience teach you? For most people, it taught them one thing. Don't try again. Don't risk it. Don't put yourself out there. One failure, one disappointment, and suddenly we build a wall around ourselves. We decide that trying is too dangerous, that failure hurts too much. So we stop. We give up. Not just on that one thing, but on everything. But what if you looked at it differently? What if that failure wasn't the end of your story? What if it was just practice? What if it was just information? What if it was just one attempt in what could be many attempts? Because that's what it really was. You tried something. It didn't work. That's all. It doesn't mean you can't. It doesn't mean you shouldn't. It just means that particular way, at that particular time, didn't work. So you try a different way. That's all. That's how everything works. That's how everyone learns. Everyone. No exceptions. And then there's comparison, the trap we all fall into. You look at someone who's successful, someone who's doing what you want to do, and you think, they started younger than me. They had more opportunities than me. They're more talented than me. They're luckier than me. And maybe some of that is true. Maybe they did have advantages. But so what? Does that mean you should do nothing? Does their success mean you can't have your own? Does their journey mean yours is impossible? No, it doesn't. Their path is theirs. Your path is yours. The only person you're competing with is yourself. The only question that matters is, am I moving forward? Am I better than I was yesterday? That's it. Every single morning when you wake up, there's a battle, an internal battle, between two versions of you. The strong version, the one who believes, the one who wants to try, the one who says, I can do this. And the scared version, the one that doubts, the one that wants to stay safe, the one that says, what's the point? And every day, one of them wins. One of them makes the decisions. One of them controls your actions. The question is, which one? Because here's the truth. You are both the prisoner and the key. You're both the problem and the solution. The war isn't out there. It's in here. Inside your mind. Inside your heart. Between the person you are and the person you could be. Between your fear and your courage. Between your doubt and your belief. And the only person who can win that war is you. Nobody else can fight it for you. Nobody else can make that choice for you. So let me ask you directly. Who's winning right now? The you that wants to change? Or the you that's afraid to try?
The you that remembers your dreams, or the you that's given up on them? The you that believes in possibilities, or the you that only sees obstacles? Because whoever is winning right now is creating your future. They're making your choices. They're living your life. And if you don't like where you are, if you don't like where you're going, then maybe it's time for a different voice to win. Maybe it's time to stop being your own biggest obstacle. Maybe it's time to become your own biggest supporter. The choice has always been yours. It still is.
Here's where most people get it wrong. They think change has to be big, dramatic. They think they need to quit their job, sell everything, move to another country, start completely over. They think transformation means turning their entire life upside down in one day. And because that feels impossible, because that feels terrifying, they do nothing. They stay exactly where they are, waiting for the courage to make a big move. But that courage never comes, because they're looking at change the wrong way. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Change doesn't have to be big. In fact, the most powerful changes are usually small. So small that other people don't even notice. So small that you might even doubt they matter. But they do. They matter more than you can imagine, because small actions done consistently create massive results over time. One small step today becomes a habit tomorrow. A habit becomes a pattern. A pattern becomes a lifestyle. And a lifestyle becomes a completely different life. Think about it this way. What if you just made one phone call today? Just one. To someone you've been thinking about. To someone you miss. To someone you need to talk to. That's it. 5 minutes. Would that change your whole life today? No. But it might change something. It might heal something. It might open something. And tomorrow, maybe you make another call, or write one email, or have one honest conversation. Small, simple, but real. What if you read just 10 pages of a book today? Not the whole book, just 10 pages. Most people can read 10 pages in 15 minutes, maybe 20. That's not overwhelming. That's not impossible. But if you read 10 pages every single day, do you know how many books you'll finish in a year? Probably 15 or 20 books. In 5 years, maybe 100 books. Think about how much you could learn, how much you could grow, how different your mind could be, all from 10 pages a day. What if you walked for just 10 minutes today? Not a full workout, not a marathon, just 10 minutes around your neighborhood. Would that transform your body today? No. But what if you did it every day? What would your body feel like in 6 months? What would your energy be like? Your health? Your confidence? Small steps, big life. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. The reason small works is simple. Big goals overwhelm us. They paralyze us. When we think about everything we need to do, everything we need to change, we feel exhausted before we even start. We look at the mountain and think, I can't climb that. So we don't even take the first step. But small goals, small actions, those don't overwhelm us. Those feel possible. And when something feels possible, we actually do it. And when we do it, we build momentum. And momentum is everything. There's something called the compound effect. It's a simple idea, but incredibly powerful. Small actions, repeated over time, compound. They multiply, they grow. Like interest in a bank account. You put in a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow,
At first, you don't see much change. The numbers barely move. But you keep going. And slowly, those small deposits add up. They grow. They multiply. And suddenly you look back and realize, I'm completely different now. My life is completely different now. And it all started with small steps. Let me give you real examples. There was a man who started walking just 10 minutes a day at age 55. Just 10 minutes. Nothing dramatic, but he did it every day, every single day. Within a year, he was walking 30 minutes. Within 2 years, he was running. At age 60, he ran his first marathon. At 60. Not because he made some huge dramatic change, but because he took one small step and kept taking it. There was a woman who decided to write just one sentence a day. One sentence. Some days it was more, some days it was exactly one. But she never missed a day. After 2 years, she had written a book, a whole book, from one sentence a day. And she published it at age 62, her first book. All because she didn't try to write the whole book at once. She just wrote one sentence. Here's what I need you to understand. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to know exactly how you're going to get from here to there. You just need to take the first step. Just one. And then another. And then another. The path reveals itself as you walk. The answers come as you move. But you have to move. You have to start. And please let go of all or nothing thinking. You don't need to quit your job to start a business. You can work on it 1 hour a day. You don't need to exercise 2 hours a day. You can start with 10 minutes. You don't need to change everything at once. Just change one thing, one small thing, and let that one thing lead to the next thing, and the next. That's how real change happens, not in one giant leap, but in 1,000 small steps. The first step is always the hardest, always, because you're breaking inertia, you're fighting gravity, you're starting from zero. But the second step? Easier. The third step? Even easier. And after a while, it's not hard anymore. It's just what you do. It's just who you are. The momentum carries you. The habit supports you. And suddenly you realize, I'm not the same person I was 6 months ago. I'm not stuck anymore. I'm moving. I'm changing. I'm growing. So let me ask you, what's one small thing you can do today? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, right now. What's one phone call you can make, one page you can read, 1 minute you can move, one word you can write, one small action that moves you forward? Because that's all you need. Just one. Start there. Start small, but start. Because small steps lead to big changes. And your big change? It starts with this one small moment. Right now.
Let's talk about the thing that stops most people from even trying. Fear. Not fear of success. Fear of failure. Fear of looking foolish. Fear of falling down. Fear of trying something and having it not work out. That fear is real. I'm not going to tell you it's silly or that you shouldn't feel it. You will feel it. Everyone does. But here's what I need you to understand. Failure is not what you think it is. Failure is not the end of your story. Failure is not proof that you can't. Failure is just data, information, feedback. That's all it is. Let me say that again because it's important. Failure is not falling down. Failure is refusing to get back up. Falling down is just part of the process. It's part of learning. It's part of growing. Every single person who has
ever achieved anything meaningful has fallen down. Many times. The only difference between them and the people who never achieve anything is simple. They got back up. They tried again. They didn't let one failure or 10 failures or 100 failures convince them to stop. But at 45, 50, 60, there's something extra that makes failure feel worse. It's not just the failure itself, it's the judgment. It's what other people might think. You've built a life. You've built a reputation. You've built an image of yourself. And there's this fear that if you try something new and fail, people will laugh. They'll say, "What were they thinking?" They'll say they should have known better at their age. And that fear of looking foolish, it can be paralyzing. It can keep you stuck for years. But let me ask you something. Who are you protecting? What image are you trying to maintain? And more importantly, is that image worth more than your dreams? Is other people's opinion worth more than your growth? Is avoiding embarrassment worth staying stuck in a life you don't really want? Because that's the trade you're making. You're trading possibility for safety. You're trading growth for comfort. You're trading your dreams for your image. And I want you to really think about whether that's a trade worth making. Here's the truth about successful people. Every single one of them has failed. Not once, not twice, hundreds of times. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before the light bulb worked. He didn't call them failures, he called them steps. He said, "I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." That's the mindset. That's the difference. He didn't see failure as the end, he saw it as part of the journey, as necessary, as valuable. You know what else? Your past failures, the ones you think proved you couldn't do something, they weren't failures. They were lessons. They were tuition. You paid for them with your time, your effort, maybe your money. But did you collect what you paid for? Did you learn from them? Or did you just let them convince you to quit? Because if you learned something, even one thing, then they weren't failures. They were investments. And maybe now, years later, it's time to use what you learned. It's time to try again. Smarter this time. Wiser this time. Better prepared this time. And let's talk about age for a moment. You think being older makes failure worse? I think it makes it better. You know why? Because you have something young people don't have. You have perspective. You have experience. You have resilience. You've already survived difficulties. You've already lived through hard times. You've already faced challenges and made it through. You know how to handle disappointment. You know how to recover. You know how to keep going. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's advantage. When you're young and you fail, it can feel like the end of the world. But when you're older, you know better. You know that failure is temporary. You know that pain fades. You know that there's always another chance. Always another day. Always another way. That wisdom, that resilience, that's your superpower. Use it. Don't let it go to waste because you're too afraid to try. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to become a student again. Be willing to be bad at something new. Be willing to not know. Be willing to ask questions. Be willing to make mistakes. Be willing to look silly. Because that's what learning looks like. That's what growth looks like. It doesn't look perfect. It doesn't look polished. It looks messy. It looks awkward. It looks like someone trying something they're not good at yet. And that's okay. That's beautiful, actually, because it means you're growing. It means you're not stuck anymore. There are so many stories. The entrepreneur who failed 3 times before age 50, then built a successful business at 53. The woman who started painting at 60 with no experience, and now sells her art all over the world.
The man who learned a new language at 70 and now travels and makes friends everywhere he goes. These people didn't succeed because they never failed. They succeeded because they failed and kept going. They succeeded because they didn't let failure define them. They let effort define them. They let persistence define them. They let courage define them. So what about you? What if you try and it doesn't work? What if you fail? Then you'll be exactly where you are now, except you'll know something you didn't know before. You'll have learned something, you'll have tried something, you'll have been brave. And that matters. That counts. That's worth something. Because the only real failure, the one that truly matters, is not trying at all. It's letting fear win. It's letting doubt control you. It's staying stuck when you could have moved. That's the failure you should fear. Not the failure that comes from trying, but the failure that comes from never starting. You've survived 100% of your worst days. Every single one. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still capable. So why not try? Why not risk it? Why not give yourself one more chance? Because failure is not the end. It never was. It's just part of the path. And the path, it's still there, waiting for you, ready when you are.
So here we are. We've talked about time, about comfort, about regret, about the enemy inside, about small steps, about failure. And now we're at the most important moment, this moment, right now. Because everything we've talked about, all of it, means nothing if you don't do something with it. If you just listen and then go back to the same life, the same routine, the same patterns, the same excuses. So let me ask you the question I promised at the beginning, the one I said would show you the truth. Here it is. If you keep living exactly as you are now, exactly the same way, making the same choices, having the same thoughts, taking the same actions, will you be proud of the next 5 years? Not happy, not comfortable, proud. Will you look back 5 years from now and say, yes, I lived well, I tried, I grew, I became more? Or will you look back with that same feeling you have right now, that feeling of wishing you had done more, been more, tried more? Will it be, I finally, or will it be, I wish I had? You know the answer. You felt it the moment I asked. You know. So, what are you going to do? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when things settle down or when you feel ready or when the timing is perfect. What are you going to do today, right now, this moment? Because this is your moment. This is where everything can change, or where everything stays the same. The choice is completely, entirely, absolutely yours. Nobody else can make it. Nobody else can live your life. Only you. Let me ask you to do something. Close your eyes for a moment after you hear this. Imagine it's 5 years from today. You're sitting alone, maybe in your favorite chair, maybe looking out a window, and you're thinking back to this moment, right now, today, this conversation. What do you want to tell yourself? What do you want to be able to say? Do you want to say, I'm so glad I finally started. I'm so glad I took that first step. My life is different now. I'm different now. Or do you want to say, I listened, I understood, and then I did nothing. And now 5 more years are gone, and I'm still stuck, still waiting, still wishing. Which letter do you want to write to yourself? Because you're writing it right now, with every choice, with every action, with every day. Your future self is watching you, hoping you choose courage, hoping you choose action, hoping you choose life. Don't disappoint them. Don't disappoint yourself. Not again. Here's something I need you to understand. You are not your past. Everything you did or didn't do before this moment, it's done. It's finished. It's history. You can't change it. You can't go back. But you can stop carrying it. You can stop letting it define you. You can stop using it as an excuse. Every single moment is new. Every morning is a fresh start. Every breath is another chance. You're not the person you were 10 years ago. You're not even the person you were yesterday. You're new, right now, in this moment. You can be anyone. You can do anything. You can start anything. The past doesn't control you unless you let it. And the people who love you, they want to see you alive. Not just breathing, not just existing, alive, happy, trying, growing, laughing, excited. They want to hear you talk about something you're working on, something you're learning, something you're building. They want to see you become who you were always meant to be. Don't rob them of that. Don't rob yourself of that. Think about your legacy for a moment. Not money, not things, but what people will say about you, what they'll remember. Will they say, they played it safe, they never took risks, they stayed comfortable until the end? Or will they say, they never stopped trying, they never stopped growing, they never stopped believing, even when it was hard, even when they were scared, they kept going. Which story do you want to be yours? Here's the beautiful truth, the one that should give you hope. Your story is not over, not even close. You're not at the end. You're somewhere in the middle. Maybe past the beginning, maybe past the halfway point. But the ending, you're still writing it. Every single day, with every choice. And the beautiful thing about stories is that they can change. They can surprise you. They can turn around completely. The best chapter of your life might not have happened yet. The best version of you might still be ahead. But only if you write it, only if you create it, only if you decide that today, right now, something changes. So I'm giving you permission, full permission, permission to try, permission to fail, permission to be imperfect, permission to start small, permission to be scared and do it anyway, permission to change your mind, permission to grow, permission to become. You don't need anyone else's permission. But if you did, you have mine. You have permission to live, really live. Not just exist, not just survive, but live with purpose, with passion, with courage, with hope. The clock is ticking. Yes, that's true. But it's not ticking against you. It's ticking for you. Every second is a gift. Every moment is an opportunity. Every heartbeat is a reminder. You're still here. You still have time. Not forever, but right now, today, this moment. And this moment is enough. It's enough to start. It's enough to try. It's enough to change everything. So stop wasting time. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop being afraid. Stop letting life happen to you. Start living it. Start creating it. Start building it. The life you want, the person you want to be, the dreams you've kept quiet for too long, they're still there, waiting, hoping, believing that maybe finally you'll give them a chance. Your life is waiting. It's been waiting for years. It's tired of waiting, but it's still there, still possible, still yours. The rest of your life starts right now, not tomorrow, right now, this second. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to live it? Who are you going to become? Don't let your life be the one you almost lived. Don't let your story be the one you almost wrote. Don't let your dreams be the ones you almost chased. Live it, write it, chase it, now. Because you still have time, but not forever. The clock is ticking.
Your life is waiting, and the only question left is, are you ready? Are you finally ready to stop wasting time and start living? I hope you are. I really do, because you deserve it. You deserve to live fully, to try bravely, to fail proudly, to grow constantly, to become completely who you were always meant to be. You deserve that life, that beautiful, messy, imperfect, real life. So go get it, starting right now.
Thank you for staying with me, for listening, for being honest with yourself. That took courage. Now comes the important part. Go. Do one thing today. Just one. Call someone. Read one page. Take one walk. Write one sentence. Make one choice that moves you forward. And tomorrow, do one more. That's all. That's how it starts. That's how everything changes. Your life is waiting. It's been waiting long enough. Stop wasting time. Start living it. Right now. Today. This moment. Because you still have time. But not forever. Go. Live. Now.